everybody! Welcome back once again to the Mania 4 Key World Cup 2022. It is round of 32 time once again. We've had a nice 8-hour break. Time to get some food, time to get some rest, time to get whatever you need to get yourself ready for another set of matches. And we've got the United States versus Australia starting off here. I'm Tove Daddy, one of your commentators, joined once again by Sparky. That's 3 matches in a row. How is it going?
It is going absolutely fantastic. It's like we are inseparable at times, Toph, and oh boy, do we have another very exciting matchup for you guys here. The United States going up against Australia, and normally under most circumstances, the United States, a name that strikes fear into the hearts of a lot of players out there, but this is a new, relatively untested roster. I think we said it during the seeding reveal. 5 of 6 of these players fresh to the scene in the Mania World Cup, so it'll be interesting to see how they perform. Australia, of course, not one to be discounted either, did very well in the qualifiers, definitely earning their spot here. Gonna try and play spoiler and be another upset in this round of 32 weekend.
Yeah, I mean, you said it, 5 new players on the United States side, and that's potentially reflected in their 11th seed, a little bit lower than they're used to as a team. Overall, just, the United States has been so dominant in the past, and having a lot of new players that aren't quite used to the scene, quite used to the stage of the World Cup. I believe I've only seen A Sharp even in other tournaments, so that's 4 players that are pretty unfamiliar with this even situation that they're putting themselves in. But this is going to be seed 11 versus seed 22, not too far apart, 10 seeds apart, and definitely points of interest to take notice of. I think off the bat, Australia is going to be looking to take advantage of whichever of the 2 SV maps is opened or kept open by the United States. I think that's just going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. We can already see the bans coming out. The US did win the roll, so Australia does get to ban first. They're going to get rid of Rice 1. Asymmetry still receiving absolutely no love this round of 32 weekend.
Yeah, haven't seen it at all. Asymmetry, they're being banned or ignored in every match. And there goes Gypsophilia by the United States. I knew one of them would be banned. Firestarter staying open, and the United States does get the first pick, so we won't be opening up with those SVs, but I imagine Australia is going to be very interested in going into Firestarter when they get their pick.
Yeah, absolutely. But now all that's left is to see what the plan of attack for the United States is going to be. Like we were saying earlier, a really fresh roster can't really pin down what their strongest skill set is going to be just yet. I feel like we're going to get a lot of information as this match progresses as to where this team is going to try and reside in these map pools moving forward.
Just based on the players, I'm pretty sure Rice is going to be a primary focus. There's the pick here coming in Qatar. I would have expected Black Lawn Finale to come out first, in all honesty, but Qatar's a completely understandable pick from the United States with, such high-profile Rice players and accuracy players like A Sharp and Grip Warrior and Mitter and LS Dev and all of them on this team.
Yeah, absolutely. This round is one where I expect the United States to flourish in terms of accuracy. It's just a matter of if they can put together the team performance to take them over the top, and we can already see the players organizing themselves in the lobby just based on the 3 names that I recognize from the United States: LS Dev, A Sharp, and Mitter, looking to be the ones to contest this pick as Australia gets their numbers in order.
Honestly, a little bit surprising to see Grip Warrior taking a step out of the lobby for this first pick. Captain of the United States has the most experience as far as, World Cup and tournament progression goes. So interesting to see them stepping out for this first pick. But like I said, these 3 extremely strong Rice players, I would not be surprised to see them absolutely demolish this. We see Fluffy and Alternation in for the Australian side. Ruka joining in for that final slot. And I think this might end up being our 6 players going into map number 1 of this match.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be very interesting as we see the MP settings come out. Probably just a double check to make sure everybody is ready in this lobby. And we should be seeing that MP start command coming out very soon.
Yeah, just kind of wait for the players to ready up for this map, trying to get into this match as quickly as we can, get things going, and just looking like we're waiting to ready up for the 6 players. But there's the start command. We'll be getting into map number 1 of a possible 9 for this round of 32 match between the United States and Australia. We'll see where the momentum ends up at the start, or once this map finishes and we see what ends up happening.
And it looks like all 6 players are loaded in. Be taking a little bit of damage in terms of their accuracy, falling into that low 99% range, while the United States roster handling this introduction a little bit better here, 99.9 across the board. But Midder's going to be finding a first miss very early on this map.
Yeah, first miss coming out from Midder early on. Fluffy trading it, though, a little bit later, and that's going to end up faring worse for Australia on that trade, especially with the accuracy advantage we're seeing from the United States here. 2 players still above that 99.9 range. A-Sharp and Dev absolutely going to town. Alternation not too far behind, and Ruka still holding that full combo with a 99.6, but Fluffy and Midder really is the interesting portion. The miss treating Midder a little bit better, still above that 99 range, whereas Fluffy is, at that low 98 range, definitely giving United States a good position to be in right now.
Yeah, the most of the cushion coming out from the timing of that miss definitely becomes a lot more important, especially on these shorter form maps. Just clocking in at just over 2 minutes. We're already halfway through, and as everybody starts to recover, Midder and Fluffy recovering from their earlier misses, we see that it's really just the accuracy discrepancy separating both of these teams. Alternation doing everything in their power to try and stay within lockstep of the US players, but this battering ram of A-Sharp and Dev really putting in work right now is making it to the last quarter of the map.
Yeah, not to mention that Midder has been really getting their accuracy back up, almost up to the 99.7 range after that first miss, and Fluffy finding yet another combo drop. That red bar just getting extremely big now. Looks like this was a very solid pick from the United States squad and is going to give them the opening momentum in this match.
Yeah, absolutely. Last sliver of map left to go. And there goes Alternation, the highest accuracy and one of the full combos from Australia. And that's going to be the nail in the coffin in this pick. And the United States is going to be able to defend their first pick here to start off this round of 32 weekend 1-0.
Absolutely disgusting scores from the United States squad. LS Dev 60 and 71 and 79. Wow, that accuracy. Alternation also at the 139, but the one miss, unfortunately, there. Very good scores, just being, I think those misses from Fluffy really being the deal breaker, but ridiculous scores all around.
Yeah, the one thing Australia can take from this is that it was the United States' first pick, so did their best to try and stay within lockstep, so really can't get too down on themselves. Would not be surprised if they dive down into that lower half of the map pool and we just see them just shotgun that SV1 pick.
Yeah, I cannot imagine anything but Firestarter coming out here. There's pretty much, especially given the, qualifier showcase, it either has to be Firestarter or it has to be one of the long note picks coming out here from Australia. I don't think anything else can come out.
Yeah, gonna opt to be, we're gonna see a LN versus Rice matchup that we always love seeing during these matches. One team gonna exist on that lower half of the pool, one gonna exist on that upper half, and they're just gonna duke it out on their comforts. And it might come down to those hybrids where those breakpoints might be found.
Yeah, potentially, but if both of these teams decide to stick with the same strategy for this whole match, there's 8 picks total, four on each side. Australia could just do the one SV pick and then all 3 long notes, and the United States could just stick and Rice the whole time. We could see both of the hybrids completely ignored.
That is very true. And right on cue, it's going to be Firestarter, probably just deliberating whether or not they actually wanted to go for it first, but there was no world in which Australia wasn't going to pick this based on their roster this year, where we already see some substitutions coming out. Potassium F and Made Not coming in for Australia to back up Alternation here.
Yeah, and on the United States side, we're seeing Tristan Jacob come in place of Mitter. Both Dev and A Sharp looking like they're staying in for the time being, but it looks like Dev is going to be swapped out for who I guess would be Sun Apple in this case, taking that SV slot for this. And there they are, Sun Apple coming in for the position, trying to give them a chance to take this SV pick despite, a potential advantage that Australia has on this. But we're going to have to see how these players, put the practice in for this map, and whether Australia is going to be able to take that momentum a little bit back from the United States and bring it 1-1.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those of you that are not aware, Potassium F is a very revered flashlight player that is not a visual bug on your screen.
I can't believe Potassium plays SVs with flashlight. Who in their right mind would do that?
Potassium apparently, and they are scary good at it. As we make our way into this SV pick, is going to be Australia's first pick in this round of 32. We can see if the United States can potentially take a break point, or if we get notched up 1-1 here.
It looks like A Sharp and Tristan Jacob are able to keep their accuracy pretty good in this opening. Sun Apple finding a little bit of an accuracy drop. Alternation on the other side also finding a little bit of a lower accuracy than the other two players on their team, but much less of a drop than Sun Apple. But we did see Madebot drop a 200 there. That's going to help give United States an opening to take some amount of that accuracy advantage.
Yeah, it's really just going to come down to the consistency amongst all 6 of these players. The accuracies are going to start evening out just a little bit as this map progresses. A bit of a longer format, 3 minutes, so plenty to keep you busy. Cannot afford to take your foot off the gas for even a moment here.
Yeah, it looks like Sun Apple is able to recover their accuracy just a little bit. As I say that, they drop at 200, but keeping on pace with Madebot is helping the United States keep this accuracy advantage, especially with A Sharp's advantage over Alternation, Potassium, and Tristan Jacob matching each other right now. So the United States just has a very slight accuracy lead going into the second half here with this second section with the more spaced apart SVs.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is normally a section where we see ghost tapping come out, and we see some players implementing that to keep themselves on rhythm to good effect. And it's just these very random looking 200s coming out from players left and right that's really swinging this leaderboard. But right now it is the United States edging out ever so slightly as we make it into this last third of the map.
Yeah, we're seeing Madebot not being treated too kindly to that section, dropping a little bit more accuracy as well. That red bar increasing ever so slightly as those accuracy drops are coming. But we still have one more section in this final third, which I think is the hardest to keep good accuracy on just because of the visual gimmicks that are employed throughout this final bit.
Yeah, absolutely, and we're seeing a lot of cross-map battles here. Tristan Jacob going up against Potassium, A Sharp against Alternation, and Madebot going up against Sun Apple. And right now it is the US counterparts winning those battles ever so slightly. There is no margin for error right now as we make it into the last 1/8 of the map.
That red bar is a little smaller than it was before. It looks like we're starting to see a little bit of accuracy drop from the United States side. Sun Apple getting below the 99.5, but still outpacing Madebot with a couple more 200 drops on their side. But that's a drop from Sun Apple, and that's going to switch that lead. If there's enough time in this ending, I don't know if there is, but it's so close.
Oh my goodness, it is up to Tristan and A Sharp to hold the fort down. Oh my goodness!
No way! They kept the lead! 180 points in favor of the United States! What just happened?
That is... Oh my goodness, that is way too close for comfort, but the United States manages to pull it out by the tiniest of margins. If the song was even like 10 seconds longer, you could imagine Australia would have tied this up 1-1, but it is not to be. The United States goes up 2-0 now.
Absolutely triple full combo from the side of Australia, but those 200 counts just a little bit too high to take that from the United States. Sun Apple finding the miss late enough that the combo drop was not in a position where it would give full score loss, and it just happened to be just in time to keep that point for themselves. What an insane happening there.
Yeah, if any of the Australian players get one less 200, that lead flips over right at the very end. But it's going to be up to the United States to try and capitalize off this breakpoint. Would not be surprised to see them go back up into that right side of the pool.
I think Black Lawn has to come out. That's like they started with Cutter. They're gonna go into the next tech pick. This is absolutely the right pick from the United States.
Yeah, so all things going according to plan. Probably a little bit more relieved now that they managed to take that break point, but definitely don't want to take their foot off the gas as we see some more substitutions come in. The SV lineups are going to make their departure here, and the more rice-oriented lineups going to come back in. We see Ruka and Madebot's going to be staying in for right now.
Yeah, and on the United States side, we see Devin, Grip Warrior, and I think A Sharp has to be the third player in this case. I think A Sharp's accuracy is way too good to not have them in on something like Black Lawn Finale.
I mean, they are asking for Mitter to get an invite into
Mitter might be a little bit, on that accurate side with the broken jump stream. That's interesting to see, honestly.
Yeah, when the players are this close to each other, it really just comes down to comfort. But that said, Mitter in that first map did say that they got a lag spike, which was attributed to the miss. So might be a little risky. Might want to go for someone like A Sharp to maybe substitute on this pick.
All right, looks like Mitter's back online, looking to get that invite back into the lobby so that we can get going with pick number 3 here.
Yeah, it looks like there aren't any more substitutions coming out from the side of Australia. It is going to be Madebot, Ruka, and Alternation staying in to contest this pick to try and get back that break point and keep themselves in this match. Don't want to go down 3-0 to kick off your tournament run, but I mean, sometimes that is the case, but we'll see what happens here. Mitter back in the lobby, so we should be getting into this third map of this best of 9 relatively soon.
We got that settings call, should be getting the MP start command. There it is, and we'll be getting into map number 3 out of a possible 9 here on the United States' second pick, trying to continue this momentum, potentially bring it to a 3-0 state after this.
Alrighty, it looks like everybody managed to load in successfully. Let's see how these players do.
Seeing solid acts coming out of the entire United States team, all above 99.9, all of Australia above the 99.7 range as well, just not quite having that accuracy advantage that the United States is pulling through these first few combos.
Yeah, so like another really short map, so misses and even 200 counts in matchups like this are at an absolute premium. Do not want to spot any unnecessary judgments under 300 as the map progresses. And as we get into the second third of the map, we're going to see the US start to pull away just a little bit here, just based on the raw team accuracy alone. 99.9s for all 3 of their players, as Australia seems to have settled down a little bit into that 99.7 range. Alternation trying to do their best to contest anybody on that US roster right now.
Yeah, but Alternation having a pretty major issue with one of those bursts. They're dropping in the 99.3s, and that's not going to do well, especially with how consistent the United States roster is right now. A miss coming out from Madebot, and that is just going to extend that lead even further. This map is not very long, and it's almost looking like it's over, and with a second miss from the side of Australia, there would have to be a collapse on the United States side to give this away.
Yeah, but with the consistency this United States roster has shown so far this match, a couple of hiccups here and there, but it looks like they are free of that as the entirety of Australia has lost their full combos, Alternation being the latest one to go down. And as this map reaches its last 8, it looks like the writing is on the wall. The United States is able to pull a 3-0 advantage to kick this match off, and what a team score from them.
What is that accuracy?
I mean, they're
what?
That's scary. They're the 11th seed and they're pulling off stuff like this. 3 double-digit perfect double S's.
I knew that this team was good at rice. I knew that they had the opportunity to be good with the accuracy on the rice side.
But
That, I think, I'm pretty sure. So, in the match earlier that we saw with Brazil, that team that's insane at this game,
yeah,
Lothus missed on that run. And so I think that actually does beat the run that the Brazilian team had, which is
oh
pretty
my
crazy
goodness,
just to think about.
that.
What is that?
Yeah, definitely do not underestimate this team. They're showing no signs of stopping, no signs of nerves so far this match as they go up 3-0 with Australia up to pick next. And you would imagine we're gonna see an LN pick of some sort come out here.
I think Xaria has to come out here from Australia. That seems like the next best pick coming into a United States match. It just is like, go for the long notes, go for the one that's most uncomfortable in terms of, rice heavy players, and that is Xaria. I could see Feel My Rhythm coming out as well, but Xaria I think has been more popular among, the long note teams here. But Feel My Rhythm actually does come out. We're going to get treated to some nice K-pop here.
Yeah, one of the nicest songs in this pool, in my opinion. Definitely a bit of a coordination test.
K-pop fan in my commentary booth?
It's more likely than you think. Hopefully it doesn't cause any issues further down the line. Don't hold it against me, I'm sorry.
Sun Apple coming in, unsurprising to see that. I expect Grip Warrior to also stay in. It's really about that third player for the United States that I would be worried about looking for. We see Alternation, Ruka, and Madebot not quite switching out at this point, and I think that might be a solid starting team for this map here, looking to take their first point against the United States.
Yeah, there was a lineup to do it. This one is it. I mean, we talked about the rice accuracy. This is going to be the first real test for this LN-based lineup from the United States. Sun Apple, Mitter, and Grip Warrior. Grip Warrior, I mean, I feel like we can say, like, they should be able to handle this. It's really going to be
absolutely.
whether or not Sun Apple and Mitter can provide the supporting accuracies, but it looks like the players are ready.
What I'm going to say, I have full confidence in Sun Apple to be able to match up. I'm worried about the third player, which is Mitter. I want to see what they are capable of doing, and I think it's up to them whether they're able to fend off the attacks from Australia here.
It remains to be seen. We are loaded into this fourth map of this best of 9. Australia still looking to try and notch their first point on the board. The United States trying to take this to a very early match point situation. It's going to be Feel My Rhythm. Let's see if they can feel it as they progress through this LN pick.
Simple LNs at this starting point. No major accuracy drops up to this point, but we're gonna have to wait until we hit one of the choruses before we really see what to expect out of these two teams in terms of overall LN accuracy.
Yeah, right now this is the closest it's been so far this match. 99.83, the lowest accuracy in this lobby, and it's oh my goodness, this is really close so far as we make our way into the second quarter of the map.
Yeah, but we still haven't hit the hard part of this map, so we're still waiting for things to really get going, and here we go with the first chorus as things get a little bit denser, a little bit harder to read through. It looks like accuracy is staying pretty strong on everyone's front. Madebot dropping a little bit of accuracy below the 99.7s now, the only player to drop any significant accuracy. Sun Apple still holding just above that 99.8, beating two of the other Australian players. Ruka doing their best to hold their own against Grip Warrior, who has this 99.92 accuracy.
Yeah, some dominant performances all around, players trading back and forth, and you would imagine it's separated by the slimmest of margins right now. It's still within the grasp of Australia to try and take this if the United States find themselves slipping up in this back half of the map, and these structures get a lot more complex to read through.
They certainly do get a little bit more complex. I think the main issue right now is that Madebot low accuracy at the 99.6. I'm calling 99.6 low accuracy. I can't believe it.
That's just the standard. That's the standard these players are setting
nowadays. Down. This is C22 versus 11, and we're calling 99.6 low accuracy? What even is the world we're in right now?
It is the world of the Mania World Cup, and right now all these players have come to play so far. Last quarter of the map still to go, 6 FCs still on the board. It is just the pure accuracy from the United States pulling them through right now. As we get into a little bit of a break, take stock of the situation, and it looks like the United States, like I said, the overall accuracy just pulling them ahead right now, but it's still in catching distance. If they find themselves slipping up here, Australia's still not out of it yet.
We're looking for something. This final course gets a little bit more awkward and dense than the first two, so there's definitely still opportunity for chokes to happen. But we're going to have to see them pretty soon. We might end up seeing a similar situation to what we saw in SV1, where Sun Apple ended up missing right at the end, but not late enough or not early enough to give Australia the chance to come back in it. And we're seeing more accuracy drops from the Australian side than from the United States. And we're looking closer and closer like we're going to see a 4th point in the United States' favor. And this is looking like we're getting closer to a sweep, which I honestly did not expect.
Yeah, absolutely. On paper.
Double S from... What is that? Excuse me? What?
I mean, when it comes to it, the captain needs to step up, and that is a captain stepping up.
That is a captain stepping up, not to mention all 3 United States players above the 990K, almost 994 from Sun Apple, almost 993 from Mitter. Okay, I should probably say I did not expect the LN team for the United States to be like anything worth noting, but that was ridiculous.
Yeah, definitely very formidable. Not to discount the Australians, who had an incredible team score of their own. Unfortunately, not enough in this instance on their first attempt in the LNs. And it is going to be one of those dire situations where it is match point on your opponent's point or opponent's pick. So it is the United States pick of the litter of the map pool to try and round things out. And Australia needs to do their best to defend.
It looks like they're going for guy runs, getting the consistency here, looking to just push that accuracy advantage. And I can't say that this is not what I would have gone for in this scenario. You have such great players who are capable of keeping accuracy. LS Dev coming back in for Sun Apple. Grip Warrior being switched out yet again for A Sharp. And honestly, given their cutter performance, there's nothing I can say about, doubting this roster for the United States. This is going to be, I'm expecting an insane accuracy score from the United States again.
Yeah, for sure. But that being said, longer form maps definitely do test the consistency. And if you are fresh into these pressure situations, you have that match point scenario ahead of you. Maybe the nerves start to creep in just a little bit here, make you start to doubt and maybe overthink some patterns that you might find rudimentary in practice become all that much harder in a real tournament setting.
Yeah, and we're seeing Ruka and Alternation and Madebot staying in for the Australian side, looking to just find some way into the United States team as we get that start command, the potential final pick as the United States is on that match point with their own pick. And you have to expect that if the United States is picking this as their third, they're pretty confident.
Yeah, absolutely. The players are loaded in. We see Mirror coming out from Madebot, probably prefers to play all these stamina draining patterns on the offhand. Hopefully not a bit of mind block coming in to start this map off. Be interested to see how they do here.
Yeah, and here we go. We see a little bit of a couple 300s from Dev on the United States side, but a few more accuracy drops on the side of Australia in these opening patterns. I saw the double 100% from Mitter and A Sharp for about 150 notes on each side, but we're getting into the more constant jump stream, and both of them are at 99.98. What?
They're just going to be going at it against each other. Really, Australia isn't even a blip on their radar right now. It's really just Mitter versus A Sharp trying to compete as to who can get the higher accuracy. And right now it is Mitter holding their own we have Australia on the other side, but really the accuracies from Madebot and Ruka falling a little bit short as we see the 399.9s once again.
A little bit short.
I'm calling 99.7.
The lowest
short.
accuracy is 99.7. This just... Like, these are such great scores from Australia already. We're only a quarter of the way through, and these accuracies are incredible all around. But this is another case where I'm like thinking about Brazil, where like they were keeping some, I think, better accuracy overall. But how do you compete against this kind of rice and consistency accuracy? I don't know what you do.
You just do your best and try and hope for a miss from your opponent. Really, the ball is not in your court. You're just hanging on for dear life. And as we make it into the second third of the map, we see the accuracy start to stabilize just a little bit.
Dev was at low 99.9s and has built their accuracy back to 99.95 as the lowest on the United States side. And again, I'm going to mention Australia. 99.87 is incredible from alternation. Ruka holding that 99.8 as well. Very, very good. And Madebot holding the pace with 99.7, but it's just not enough unless we see some breaks coming out from the United States.
Yeah, and I think we're in that territory where even a break wouldn't swing things back immediately for the Australians. They'd be able to make a dent in the lead, but it wouldn't go over so easily as we make our way into the back half of the map, and it is just more of the same story. Mitter and A-Sharp putting on an absolute clinic in consistency for the United States as Australia does everything in their power to hold on to the accuracies as best as they can. A little bit of a break now to try and take stock of the situation, and oh my goodness, this is a long road ahead. The longest minute and a half that these players might have to deal with for this match.
Definitely the longest minute and a half potentially for Australia here, trying to bring it back with the start of the broken jump stream before we get into the final extended stream. But they're going to have to start picking up their accuracy, or actually, I think picking up their accuracy doesn't matter right now. They need to hope that the United States drops in this last bit, or I don't think they have a chance to take this point before getting swept.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, this is an incredible team run from the Australians. It's just the unfortunate fact that they had to run up against a brick wall in the United States, and especially on these rice picks. They have come to play. They have thrown down the gauntlet. Everybody that was probably casting them aside as, okay, it's not the same lineups we've seen in the past couple of years. No, they're still here. They just brought 5 new players that are all able of doing stuff like this.
Yeah, I don't. Look at their accuracy consistent. They're all 99.96. I didn't even notice that.
They're all in a group call probably on Discord, just like talking calmly about everything that's going on. They're probably planning what they're going to do after this. I mean, the map's winding down. Mitter has pulled ahead by hundreds of a percent. Dev coming up to meet him, and the United States take it 5 to. Oh my god!
What is that team score? 2.996. 2.996. What? What?
Oh, they didn't just V1 double S double digit 300 2 maps in this. I'm sorry.
What? This is your 11th seed?
Good luck, everybody. I don't want to play this team anymore.
Good luck, everybody else. What was that?
That is a statement win from the United States. That's what it is, Toph. Congratulations to them for moving on to the round of 16 in the winner's side. Australia not out of the tournament yet. They will be dropping down into that lower bracket where they look to try and make the run. But oh my goodness, what a performance!
I can't believe that. Yeah. United States winning that match, moving on in the winner's bracket to face Singapore next weekend. That's a tough opponent as well, but I think Singapore is going to be scared seeing those scores that were just put up by the United States in that match. And we saw a little bit of everyone in that match too, so the United States has that flexibility with their roster. Interesting to see Australia putting up, honestly, as a 22 seed, those are incredible scores. Yeah, I would be scared for Poland, who has to face them next weekend in the losers bracket. I'm very excited for both the United States versus Singapore and Poland, Australia. That's going to be such an incredible set of matches for the round of 16, but that will finish off this, one match block that we have for the World Cup before we have a nice 6-hour break before Korea versus Taiwan.
Yeah, and it's going to be a quite a stacked block. We have plenty of matches for you guys to enjoy. But with that being said,
Oh
Toph,
yeah,
it
actually,
goes
hold
without
on.
saying.
Before you say anything, I do want to mention you see all 8 of those matches. They're all in the same block tomorrow, starting in 6 hours at 9 UTC. So that's definitely not going to be something you want to miss because we'll see a train of matches starting from there. But go on with what you were going to say, Sparky.
I was just gonna say, I mean, Toph, it's without question that we're both staunch supporters of the United States, just given where we're from.
Are.
How can we show our support for teams like the United States?
You know, I was just thinking about that, and I think I have the perfect solution. And that is those team banners that you can purchase at the Osu store. You can select whatever team that you want to support and have a banner with that country's flag on your profile to support for the Osu Mania 4Key World Cup 2022. I would love to have a USA banner, or maybe I would love to have a Brazil or a Philippines banner. I could do whatever I want, and this will go to the tournament's prize pool, supporting the players, supporting the tournament, supporting the staff, and letting us do this. But if we wanted to support the players more than just by buying a banner, could we do anything about that, Sparky?
You absolutely can. We now have the Open Collective, a website where we can donate even more. If you want to give more than just the $250 for the banner, you can definitely do that now by going to the Open Collective and donating to the prize pool that goes to the players for this edition of the 4Key Mania World Cup. So however you want to support, the players will definitely appreciate it. Everybody on staff will definitely appreciate it, and it'll allow us to bring you guys more amazing tournaments like this one.
Absolutely. But with that, I think we're ready to start signing off. We have another long break. We've got 6 hours before South Korea versus Taiwan. Get your food, get your rest, get whatever you need. And we will see you back in 6 hours for the final block of matches before we get into our preparation for round of 16. We hope to see you guys there.